realised that my glasses are matching my hoodie, but it's kind of cute actually. But this wasn't on purpose, but yeah. Hey everyone, welcome back to Giggles and Real Talk podcast. I'm Sis.
And I'm Kimmy. Today's episode is a little heavier than usual, but it's a conversation that really matters.
Yeah, so today we're talking about mental health and especially the stigma around it. I think the stuff that people don't always feel comfortable saying out loud. Mental health is a real thing and it's a sensitive topic, and we're not any professionals or anything here. We're just going to talk about our experience with mental health. And yeah, we hope people can relate. Yeah, hopefully it's going to be a good episode.
Yeah. Alright, mental health is something everyone has, but not everyone feels safe talking about it. And that's wild when you really think about it.
Exactly. Like, we'll openly say that, oh, I've got a headache or I'm feeling tired, but when you say I'm feeling anxious or I'm not okay mentally, suddenly it feels awkward, or maybe like people start to act different towards you.
Yeah.
I just feel like those dialogues feel different for some reason, and sometimes the person who receives it as well may act differently. Like if you have like a physical symptom, people will say it, oh, you know, I've got ache or I'm feeling this, or but as soon as you want to say something that is affecting your mental health, it just feels like it creates different conversations. But I think it is changing now, but I do feel like there are still stigma around it, that not everybody feels like they can just openly express themselves and say how they feel. And I think there are various factors which we'll try to explore in this episode.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes also like brushed up with like you be fine or just stay positive. Like that fixes everything. It doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think awareness is key. And you know that thing where people ask, how are you? And then it's just like, oh, I'm fine, I'm okay. I feel like we need to have those deeper conversations, because yeah, it is sometimes like brushed off, and then the person's like, oh yeah, like that person is fine, that's okay. But it could be that they are displaying something and feeling something completely different. But yeah, mental health is something that is really important to me. I think really important to us. I think we have dealt with it as a family on a huge scale. We lost a family member to it. That's how, I guess, like the experience of it was really difficult for us. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about mental health and how maybe we can try to help each other, because I feel like if we don't help each other, then who will?
Yeah.
So in this segment, we're going to be talking about social stigma and the silent pressure. I feel like social stigma shows up in quiet ways. Like sometimes you feel like you have to be strong all the time, or you feel guilty for struggling when other people seem to be coping. And it's like you have to sort of put on this act, or you have to display this face and show that you are strong, that you are coping and everything is fine. And obviously it's different for different reasons. I think like sometimes you live with your family, or you have kids and you feel like you don't want to burden them, you don't want to show them that you are going through something. But I also think that when you don't have access to people that you can open up to, that people can create that safe space for you, I think internally, I think a lot of people do suffer, and like they feel like they're going through this all alone.
I feel like this often like comes from cultural, family, or religious beliefs where people are taught to deal with struggles quietly or rely only on faith and staying strong. And while this can help some people cope, it can also make it harder for someone to talk openly or just ask for help if it's like as if it's like a bad thing, but it's not a bad thing. But yeah, I kind of I do get it. Like some cultures, like for instance, our culture, we're from Bangladesh. Our parents didn't really know what mental health exactly is, or maybe they had an idea, but they would not really talk about it. And it's something like we like would shy away from because they wouldn't openly talk about it. So I completely get it, but it's not a bad thing. But I don't know why we made it out to be an awful thing to talk about it.
Yeah, I think our parents, they didn't really probably have conversations about mental health with their parents. So it's definitely a generational thing. And so when we want to talk about it, it's something that they can't seem to connect with because they haven't really been associated with it. And it's not something that I blame them for, but I do think that awareness thing is really important. But I think now things have changed. I think parents are becoming more aware about mental health, and it's not something that you just like brush off, because I feel like, I don't know why, to me personally, sometimes I feel like mental health is more dangerous than physical health. Like, you just don't know what the brain can make you believe or make you do sometimes. And you hear all these scary stories, like a person didn't have any physical health problems, but maybe something terrible happened to them and it was because of their mental health. And maybe if they did get help, then things would have been different, or maybe they didn't know who to go to, they just felt lost. So I feel like, yeah, there are various factors that we can go into, but I think asking for help is really important, and it's not always easy. Sometimes you yourself don't even know what you're going through. Like, you can't really explain your feelings, so how can you explain it to other people? Sometimes you just feel lost in your world. Yeah, but I think like silence can make people feel isolated. It's like they're the only ones who are going through it, but in reality they're not. But when you're in it, that dark cloud that you're under, it just feels like you're going through it, and sometimes people can't seem to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I've been through it. You had a period as well, maybe about a decade ago. But yeah, I think seeking help is one of the first things that you should do. Reach out to anybody, a trusted friend, a family member, maybe a GP. Like we mentioned, if it's a cultural thing or religious beliefs, I don't believe anyone should suffer alone.
Yeah, and also one more thing is, I think some people, they just go on with their everyday life thinking like, everything is fine, everything's normal, like nothing's wrong, until like something has happened, like you reach like the final straw and you're like, okay, there's no more bad that could happen from than what just happened now, and you're like, okay, it's time now, yeah, to like seek for help. But the truth is, sometimes doing a bit earlier is better than reaching that final straw. That way you know that you didn't have to come to that point. Or why have I gone to this point in my depression? Why haven't I sought help earlier than I could have prevented this?
Yeah.
So I feel like, talking from my experience, that's I've dealt with some depression in my life as well, and I should have reached help earlier. Then I feel like it would be more helpful for me. And I feel like reaching help earlier doesn't mean that you're weak. You're just trying to prevent something even more worse, from happening.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I think reaching that help, sometimes it can feel like a big step and it feels like, oh my god, you're so weak and vulnerable. But yeah, it's actually the most strengthful thing you could ever do. It's the most self-awareness you could ever have about yourself, that you're actually asking for help before something can get worse.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with everything that you're saying. And I think just over the years of, I guess, maybe struggling with my mental health, I try to treat it as physical health. Like, if I'm physically unwell and I need help or I need medication, I'm gonna go to the GP. So if my brain needs help, if my emotions need help, then I should also ask for help as well. And just because something is invisible, because something can't be seen, like, it doesn't mean that it's not true. It's very much a reality. If it exists to you, then it is real.
Now we're going to move on to the impact of social stigma. Stigma can stop people from asking for help, I feel like from going to therapy, from even admitting to themselves like something is wrong. It can make people feel embarrassed or scared of being judged, so they keep everything like bottled up. And when that happens, people can end up struggling alone instead of getting the support they actually need. Like, for instance, a young person might be overwhelmed or like with school or life, and someone could be like burnt out at work but pretends like they're fine because they don't want to be seen as weak by their friends, family, or manager. So yeah, there's many things that could like happen.
And I've had experience of being burnt out at work where I would just tell myself, just push through, just get to that Friday, you'll have that weekend and it's fine. But I remember at work, like, my manager would be like, you need to take time off and just have that long weekend, take Friday off and Monday off, even if you don't do anything, but you need to take that break. And like, balance is so key, it's so important. Whatever you're doing in your life, whether you're like full-time working, you're working part-time, maybe you have kids, maybe you have caring responsibilities, it's so important for us to take time out for ourselves. and it's not always about work, and it's not about other people, it's not about other people's feelings and protecting theirs. But I think if you don't look after yourself, if you don't look after your feelings and like protect your boundaries, I think that's when like certain things about like mental health creeps up. And like, I feel like everyone has some sort of mental health, you know. Some people have severe ones, some people have mild, and it's you know, caused by different things in life. But yeah, it's really important to have that awareness of like taking breaks, um speaking up and saying that you're not okay, and like taking that break, that I feel like is really important. It's not always easy. Sometimes just taking you know, a break from life, like you can't just do it. But I think it is really important that we do give ourselves that space and that time to like focus on ourselves, focus on our mental health, and just make sure that we're going to be okay, so that if we're okay, then we can take care of other things and other people.
Yeah, I feel like you're the only one who has to do the work. Like you have to do the action. You can't just say that you would do it, because no one else will do it for you. They can give you all the advice and talk to you, like talk with you, and like whatever you want to do, but at the end of the day you have to do the actual physical work of looking after yourself. I feel like also, like no matter how much you love your work, no matter how much you love, you know, going to school, or maybe you don't like going to school, I don't know, maybe there's pressures from your parents or family that you have to do well, get good grades. At the end of the day, it is your life. You make your own decisions. If you're going through a phase where you get burnt out, or you're getting headaches, you're getting migraines, and you're just not feeling so well to do your work, I feel like there's like a certain point that you have to like stand up and say something.
Yeah, because struggling in silence, I feel like it doesn't make you stronger. I think it just makes things heavier. It just adds things on top, because you feel like as each day goes by, you're struggling more and more, but you're not saying anything, you're not doing anything about it. So then what happens is everything just feels, it's like coming down on you, and then you're gonna hit rock bottom. And I think it's really important that we avoid that. Like we try to take action and be like, I can't think about all those things. I can't think about social stigma. I can't think about like culture, religious beliefs, or anything like that. Like I need to help myself.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I feel like no one else would. And I also feel like real strength is being able to say like I need help, or I'm not okay right now. Like sometimes just saying those words alone, it's enough to just like to reach out like for that help. And I feel like that's self-awareness. It shows someone cares enough about themselves to get better and support themselves emotionally, especially when nothing else seems to be working.
I really hope that if people are not feeling well, that they are able to say to themselves, you know, it's not a sign of weakness. It's okay, I need help so I can get better. Right, so we're on our final segment now, and we're going to be talking about shifting the narrative. I feel like we need to normalize health check-ins in the same way that we do about physical ones.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like checking on your friends like with that judgment, or like it's a really good thing. I feel like this checking up, just simple, just have a call in or just give a text to someone to see how they are, or listening instead of just trying to fix everything and letting people feel what they feel. Sometimes the best support is giving them the space that they need to just, you know, to help them find their way. Because being lost in life is not always a bad thing. It can also lead to discovering something even more better. So yeah, I think sometimes giving too much advice doesn't really help. Trying to help someone to find their way doesn't always help. Sometimes if you just leave them be and just check in here and there, I think that makes more of a difference. Because, like, to each their own.
I feel like mental health is different for different people, and some people are willing to talk about it and some people don't want to talk about it. So I think it's just important just to listen to them and see the kind of help that they need, or maybe they don't need help at the time. And that can be difficult, right? You know, when you care about someone so much, you love them, you want them to feel good about themselves, but just like you said, that space can also be a good thing, and you can be like, I'm here for you. If you need me, I'm here for you. Don't feel alone. And then they may open up, or they may not, but it's like, it's a tough place for the person going through it, and it's also tough for the family members, because we've been through that for good 2 decades, and then afterwards we lost that person. And I think some of the feelings that I felt was that just feeling helpless, Because all you want to do is just make that person feel good. You know, you don't want them to be in this sort of dark cloud that they're under, and you just want to pull them out of it and just make them feel happy. And but it's like,
not everything is always going to be in your control. I feel like it's not always in our control to help someone or fix something for them. They have to sometimes, they're in control of their own emotional, like mental health at the end of the day. That they have to do, you know, they have to get themselves out of it. No matter what we do, they're the ones at the end of the day have to get themselves out of it. So
I think just understanding the person, and just like I said, like just being there for them and saying, hey, if you want to talk, I'm here for you. If you need some space, that's absolutely fine. And just being empathetic and just being kind and compassionate, I think those are really important. And you may have that urge to be like, oh, I just want to fix them, and you know, I just want to make sure that they're okay because I love them so much. And all those feelings are valid, but I think when it comes to mental health, I think their feelings are you know, they're going through a lot of things, and so we just have to be sensitive and let them go through it, and hopefully they will come out of it. And if you're the one who's struggling, just know that your feelings are valid. Okay, every single thing that you feel is all valid. Don't feel like you have to ignore your feelings or minimize them in any way. Please don't do that, and try to get help. Another thing that I would say is that don't ever feel like you need to earn rest. Balance in life is so important, so don't feel like you need to earn anything. If you want to rest, you rest. If you need to take a break, you take a break, okay? Because you need to put yourself first. Like, health is gold, right? Health is wealth. If you don't have your physical health, your emotional health, your mental health, like, I feel like you have nothing. In the way that we have an injury or like a wound or something that could be seen, equally, if you have any sort of mental health problems that you're going through, it's real for you, okay? It's I don't know how to say it, but it's like a mental wound for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
I don't know.
It actually does make sense.
Sorry if that came across offensive, but I think what I'm trying to say is, like, if you can physically see something, then mentally if you feel something, then that's true too.
That's true,
you know?
as well, yeah.
Yeah.
If this episode resonated with you, just know you're not alone, and talking about it doesn't make you weak.
Exactly, it makes you human. So let's keep breaking the stigma, one honest conversation at a time. And before we wrap up, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us and for listening and holding space for this important conversation with us. It really means a lot to us.
Yeah. And next week, we'll be switching the pace a little. It's Ramadan, so next episode is going to be super chill.
I'm really excited that Ramadan is here, alhamdulillah. It's my favorite time of the year, and we're going to be breaking our fast together. So that's going to be really fun, and it's just going to be good food, calm vibes, and just a real connection.
So yeah, think less heavy talk, more togetherness.
Yeah, so join us next week for a peaceful and cozy episode. And until then, take care of yourselves. Ramadan Mubarak, everyone. Peace. Okay, so that's one for you, one for me. I just... Oh, good. Seriously?
I still don't know what type of sauce they have used.
Yeah, these are tough to break, so...
How am I gonna eat
Look at these. That much, like, all I had was a boiled egg and some water.
Yeah.
So I really found it tough, even though we're only fasting for like 12 hours this year in the UK.